Everything in your life, your relationships, your circumstances, your opportunities, even the people who help or hinder you, is the outer reflection of an inner state of consciousness. Your environment is not separate from you. It is you, projected outward. The state of consciousness you occupy shapes the world you see and the events you experience. If you try to change outer conditions without first changing your inner state, you will be working in vain. All transformation begins within. Those who cross your path, whether they support you or oppose you, are drawn into your life because they match the pattern of your inner self. You must learn to distinguish between your eternal identity, the I, and the temporary states you occupy. The I is the Son of God, your imagination, your core awareness. It is permanent. The states are temporary, roles you step into, beliefs you accept, moods you fuse with. You are always free to leave one state and enter another, but you must first recognize that you are not the state itself. This truth can be hard to accept. In Scripture, when Jesus told the people, "No one comes to me unless I call him," many turned away, saying it was a hard teaching. They didn't want to hear that there was no one to change but self, that every encounter, whether friend or foe, was called by their own inner nature. It is easier to blame others for our misfortunes, but if this is the truth, there is no other work to do except to change self. Most of us never take an honest look at the self we truly carry inside. The I has no face or form, yet it molds itself into a pattern through what we believe, accept, and consent to, often unconsciously. Prejudices, fears, and superstitions that we do not even know we hold silently shape the world we live in. To change the I, you must first observe yourself without criticism or justification. This can be uncomfortable. You may be shocked or even ashamed at what you discover, the patterns you've been protecting and defending. But self-acceptance is the starting point. Until you see and accept the truth of your current self, you cannot consciously change it. Your descriptions of others, of society, of the world, are in fact confessions of your own state. The way you see life reveals who you believe yourself to be. Years ago, Neville met a man who believed he was condemned to a life of limited opportunities because he was born a black man in America. He pointed to signs and restrictions that proved his disadvantage. Neville told him what his teacher Abdullah had taught. There is no power outside your own mind that can limit you. If you are restricted, it is because you have accepted those restrictions internally and identified yourself with them. Abdullah, a proud black man himself, never allowed anyone to define him by race in a limiting way. He told Neville, "Start with self. Never be ashamed of the being you are. Discover it, then change it." The man wrestled with this truth for nearly 3 years, but eventually he shed the belief that he was a victim of birth. He began to occupy a new state, one of success and freedom, until it felt natural. When Neville met him again, he had a thriving business on Wilshire Boulevard and was netting $250,000 a year. His transformation had nothing to do with changing his skin or outer circumstances. It was the result of changing the inner state of I. You can start now, from scratch, and choose the being you want to be. You cannot change your physical heredity, but you can enter a state where such things are no hindrance. Man is freed or constrained only by the state of consciousness in which he abides. It is useless to wait for the world to change. Most people don't care about your struggles. They are absorbed in their own. The sooner you take full responsibility for your state, the sooner you reclaim your power. The Lord's Prayer, in its original form, was written in the imperative passive mood, a standing order meaning thy will must be being done. Thy kingdom must be being restored. All things already exist as finished states. You do not create them. You select them and occupy them. As you fuse with a state, you seem to unfold its events over time, but everything in that state is already complete. Begin by noticing your automatic reactions to life. When you have truly changed the feeling of I, your reactions will also change. You won't have to force them. They will be the natural expressions of your new state. A temporary change in mood is not a transformation. Real change happens when you remain in a chosen state long enough for it to become stable, when you think from it rather than of it. Once your new state is your habitual center, your world will reconfigure itself to match it. People will play new roles toward you, because your relationship to life has changed. Transformation begins with desire. You must want to be different, deeply, persistently, passionately. If you are complacent, satisfied with good enough, you will not change. Blessed are the poor in spirit, those who are dissatisfied enough to seek something higher. When you fall in love with an idea to the point that it haunts you, you will inevitably externalize it. Desire is the mainspring of action. Without it, you remain where you are. The only true field of work is within yourself. Change your inner state, and your outer world will change to reflect it. There is no one else to change, no one else to purify, no one else to make whole. The eye is the root. The state it occupies is the branch. The world is the fruit. Change the root, and everything else must follow.